come up with a point or two in this next game, we will have to stay and keep a lookout. So for the roster going into this match, for the side of Team Silverboom, we have Lei Kang, So Bad, Very Bad, Pain Sandy, Depression, and Rasen Shuriken. And of course, for the side of ASN Esports, we'll see Aeon 222, Tezza Boy 98, Chingy, Azure, and Zarano.
All right, so what do you think is going to happen in this matchup? I feel like it's just going to be, well, kind of sad to say it, but it might just be an easy win here for ASN, considering like how Silverboom have been performing throughout this split.
Yeah, I mean, I must agree with you. It's quite a sad fact, but if we do see Lei Kang coming on and playing for this match between ASN, then, the side of Team Silverboom might have a slight chance, might have an edge, because Lei Kang is Silverboom's dedicated laner at the end of the day. He's one of his strongest players. He has got, he is like the cohesion, the cohesive that will bring the entirety of Silverboom together. Anyways, draft is ready. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into draft. So coming into this draft, Silverboom has been bringing out a rather weird meta of their own, often more than not seen with that weapon-powered Adagio if Lei Kang is playing. So whether or not we'll be seeing that weapon Adagio is really just down to how the side of Silverboom will be drafting. They might be just banning out the meta heroes like that of Baron and of course Grace. Anyways, just a quick reminder to all the viewers out there, we are still playing on the tournament server and thus still the 2.6. So we will not be seeing Reza or for that matter, the changed heroes as well. So we might see an emergence of Sky for that matter. Team Silverboom, they are taking quite a lot of time going into their first ban, although I'm not surprised though if Boom does go for that very early, or the ban out on the very early heroes that Chingy excels on.
Yeah, so what are the heroes here that Chingy might actually go on for? Or will they just ban out like the standard, maybe Grace or Lighter early initial ban?
Well, they are still taking their time. We might see a draft reset here. And as to your answer, the question, or rather the answer to your question, I must say Chingy has shown really good performance on that Koshka for that early game. And on top of the Koshka, he has played a couple of games of Grumjoy, in fact Batiste as well, and he has displayed quite a performance when plays on those heroes as well. What I'm expecting from Silverboom, to be honest, would, for the first ban at least to remove that of Baron, because that has been the go-to ban. We are going to see an Idris being banned out from the side of Team Silverboom. And as for ASN Esports, they might just go for that Grace ban, if not that Lara, just to remove one healer from the side of Silverboom, because Grace at this point in time, she is a rather strong hero. They're going to go for that Baron ban out. I'm getting all my guesses wrong today, but Baron is quite a suitable ban out, because if you do not want to play Baron and you do not want to face against him, it's just good to ban out that Baron. And on top of that, ASN Esports, like you said, looks like they are a very strong team. So honestly, they can go into this ban just going through with what is meta within the screams at this point in time.
So they're gonna go for a first pick Grace. So just a little bit of fun fact for you guys for today. All of the games that we have played, I think all of them pushed to a game 3. All of these games, we've only seen one game that hasn't had a Grace in it, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 games I think. So even though Silverboom, like you said, are a team that likes to go for some crazy non-meta heroes, they first pick something that might that is meta, that actually solidifies I would say good amount of burst healing plus initiation in team fights. So Silverboom playing really safe in their first pick.
Definitely going for the very safe, reliable first pick of that Lyra, and of course they do ban out that Fox, so we might be seeing that weapon Dajo, because I mean all 3 rather matter carries are currently banned out in terms of the injuries that Baron, and of course that Fox. We do see the Ringo, the fourth most reliable carry, at least in the current meta, especially when you're going up against that of Gwen or even Baron in that early game. And in that late game, you have just got so much sustained burst, so incredibly hard to stop and avoid the damage coming out from you. So I'm not surprised if Silver Boom would just settle on their weapon Adagio that has been their go-to, or they will put a mage up in lane and of course settle for that weapon jungler, like that of say Grumjaw. If not, then at least that Cruel, but they've not seen to play, you know, they haven't been playing a lot of that Cruel or even that Grumjaw for that matter. ASN Esports, looking at the team comp at this point in time, they are leaning towards really that of the early game with that Ringo being picked up. I'm not surprised if they are going to round the comp up with that, say, Koshka just so to jump in, and since Batiste is no longer a threat, they can just pull off anything they want.
So it looks like they're going to go for a Celeste and Glaive. I thought we were actually going to go for maybe a Catherine here just for that Blast Tremor. So, you know, there's no possibility of the Grace using the intervention. So if ever there's a chance to save the Ringo, there's not. But maybe the Glaive just for that pick-off. So this could be a jungle Glaive, Weapon Power Glaive.
Yep, I'm not surprised if this goes for, they go for the lane glaive, the weapon power lane glaive, because Celeste generally you want to put her in the jungle, for that levels. And we do see, like I said, ASN will be rounding up their team comp with that Koshka, and I'm not surprised at all. Chingy has shown incredible performance on that Koshka. His ability to snowball on this hero is just immense, and I'm quite surprised though the side of Silver Boom not banning out the Koshka at all, instead just opting for that Idris and of course Vox ban.
So what do you think is this Koshka? I mean, I've known, you said already a while ago that Chingy is a very strong Koshka. She also plays a Grumpjaw. So I'm looking forward to see Chingy try to handle the Celeste. Celeste, I think in the early game, actually Celeste and the Glaive, which either or goes to the jungle, is going to be pretty hard fought against Chingy because, you know, this is a Koshka. You can just keep stealing the jungle camps and then just disrupting, I guess, the levels and the farm of anyone who's going to be playing there by Silver Boom.
Yep, and on top of being able to steal as well, Koshka in the early game is just so very strong with her empowered attacks, auto attacks after her Twirly death. So that is one thing that we have to take note of. And Chingy has shown quite a performance, like I said earlier on this Koshka. If it is that Glaive that's in the jungle, then Chingy might have a little harder time going into the game. Whereas if it is that Celeste in the jungle, then Chingy will just have a swell of a time just going in, pulling that Celeste out of a jungle, because firstly, Celeste really needs to hit those heliogenesis, and how incredibly Celeste, a fragile Celeste is in the early game is just so good for Chingy on that Koshka. So they might pick this up. They might want to swap this around, put that, you know, Glaive in that jungle. So at least Glaive has got a method of escape in terms of that afterburn, whereas Celeste, you are just really that sitting dark when you cast your heliogenesis, and being the mobile hero that Koshka is, you can really just dodge out all of that and just jump straight into Celeste, taking that Celeste out, and afterwards just take the jungle, and then you have the level advantage. So it is just down to how, honestly, this is down to how Koshka, or rather Chingy on this Koshka, and how calculated his aggression will be, and how Silver Boom can adapt, and whether or not Silver Boom can adapt well. Whereas the Glaive going up that against that Ringo might have a little hard time if he overstep on his boundaries in the lane. Getting an afterburn in front or within turret range will prove to be hurtful for that Ringo. But then of course Grace will, more often than not, seeing how lane heavy the meta has become, I'm not surprised if Grace would just be babysitting that Ringo in that lane. So I guess there is not much to talk about, but it's just down to execution. But just based on team comp alone, I'm leaning towards the side of ASN to clinch game one in this match.
Because I feel like it's going to be very awkward for Silver Boom to transition from early game to mid game, just because it's a Lyra. Even though you do have that, of course, Imperial Sigil, it feels like it's not that defensive of a tool if Chingy as well as the Grace go in aggressive and force out the jungler. So I don't know who they will put into the lane or the jungle. So we'll just have to see if Silver Boom decides to, like, another two opportunities there. Is it gonna be Celeste in the jungle with Lyra trying to maneuver away for Chingy, and then will it just be the Glaive in the jungle, maybe to just go for the early ganks or stay in the lane and then just get helped by the Lyra and start whamming on this Ringo? Either or, it's gonna be Silver Boom hard fought in this early game for me. So I'm with your guess, I'm gonna go also with ASN.
Yep, we do see that Celeste will be going up into lane, taking up that that first medic per se. Ooh, Tezza Boy going into Rasen Shuriken, and so bad, very bad.
That was pretty early. Tezza Boy is gonna actually steal, I believe, the camp there, but will he trade it with his life? I guess no. Look at how fast he is, just zipping, zapping away, and so bad, very bad. Actually missing a couple of CS on that one and giving Ringo a little bit of the advantage. So good, I guess good start coming in from ASN.
Yep, good start indeed. We do see Chingy going in for the early game aggression.
Oh, and aggression indeed is what we are seeing. Rasen Shuriken should be first blood here because Aeon will embrace him with a little bit of the shots, and Pain Sandy, even though you do have that Imperial Sigil, you still have to respect ASN, although he will live to fight for another day, and ASN will start to go rampaging down onto this Trent.
Yep, they are going to, and we did see though, they are swapping the roles up. They are putting so bad, very bad on that Celeste into that lane, just so she can get extra farms, just so she can avoid Chingy on that Koshka at all costs. That is one thing that we must note as well. It's very good play coming up from the side of Silver Boom, just trying to change out the rotations or just not sticking to the meta just because they need to adapt for the hero that's coming out from the side of ASN. And just looking at CS alone, we do see that Aeon 222 is doing decent on the CS, although he will have quite an easier laning phase as compared to that Celeste, because Celeste is so mana hungry, or rather energy hungry. Oh, they are going in for another fight.
A fight breaks out once again. Rasen Shuriken, like you said, has the afterburner to get away, pushes back his opponent, saying, "You shall not get me." But ASN is on the driver's seat. Silver Boom is hard fought to try and get anything in their jungle. Tezza Boy is making sure of that one. And like you said, Luxuria, your predictions were perfect. ASN are starting to, I guess, drive away with this early game. And Paint Sandy, even with so bad, very bad, still taking quite a bit of damage from Aeon 222 and Rasen Shuriken. I mean, he doesn't get anything off from his jungle, pays with his life. Oh, so bad, very bad. He got leapt upon by the cat. Me, ouch! Goes by Chingy.
Cat me ouch, indeed. And that was just incredible rotations coming up from ASN. And, we cannot expect anything less from one of the teams that are part of the top 5 in the VG8. At least, or rather the top 4 in the VG8, and we need to see the amount of pressure Chingy is putting in both lane and of course the jungle of the side of Silver Boom, with Chingy just going in very, very deep for those jungle invades, and of course immediately rotating up to lane where the needs arises. That is what separates Chingy, or rather the side of ASN, as to the other teams as well. And we know Chingy.
Okay, I thought did Tezza Boy steal it?
I heard a moan there. I was expecting something. But, coming into this game, we are seeing that ASN is just on the lead as well. He might be in a terrible position at this point in time.
Tezza Boy, well, terrible position is not going to be the case for ASN here. Playing with the hearts of Silver Boom. Also, look at this, Rasen Shuriken from behind to kill onto Aeon. Good start here for Silver Boom. Will they follow up onto Chingy? They're chasing him down. They know where this kitty cat is. Pounces to the gold mine, and Rasen Shuriken will have to, chase down onto a very fast feline. But they just have to decline as the other members of Silverboom looking to push onto the turret. But Tezaboy has something else to say. He'll be trying to defend it for the meantime, but he will at least have the help of Aeon222, so it's going to be fine.
Yep, we are gonna see though the fight of two cats. Whether or not the bigger cat with those large bearing tools would win, or just Chingy on this rainbow cat. Actually,
yeah. I can never notice Glaive as a feline just because he's standing on two feet.
Well, I guess Chingy is kind of standing on 2 feet. He's just a rather, well, I don't know, but but I guess the name suggests Koshka does mean cat in Russia, if I'm not wrong. So there you have it. Oh, another kill going over to the side of ASN. Oh, no, sorry, to the side of Silverboom with Tezaboy just overextending a little.
But speaking of overextending, that might have been the Celeste, although that was just a perfect lockdown coming in from Chingy. So there you have it. The yummy catnip frenzy wins the day for this Koshka, and Aeon to follow up as well. Doesn't have his Hellfire Brew just yet. Sadly enough, Rasen Shuriken will not get taken down, but Silverboom mitigate a little bit. Oh, Rasen Shuriken with the afterburn gets the win on that one. Chingy did not expect, but just good timing from the Glaive.
Yep, anyways, a quick... Okay, I thought a fight would be happening. I was saying silence from ASN will back off at this point in time. A quick update for all the viewers for our previous match between Team Enix and, of course, that of Brand Chong. We will see Enix winning that the second round 2-1. So congratulations to the side of Enix. Enix will move on to the semis that we will be seeing for tomorrow back into this game. Although I was saying so much that ASN has got the early game, but it's quite apparent that Silverboom has just got this almost under control. Wouldn't you agree, Asura?
Yeah, I mean, early game, it seemed that they were kind of losing it a little bit, but finally they've found a little bit of the method to the madness. Rasen Shuriken has been rotating more into the lane and catching off either one of the members of ASN, because I think that they're already okay, so Silverboom, their decision was all right, so if you're gonna go and harass us at our own jungle, we're just gonna leave you to it and we're gonna go to your lane and start, trying to force you back here. And that's ASN following through. And the problem is right now that Silverboom is, or rather the problem right now for ASN is that Silverboom is starting to ramp up with the Slider. They're trying to survive, even though ASN are getting all of these picks. Silverboom can still get the counter picks, or after that fight, they can get a pick themselves with the help from Rasen Shuriken.
Yep, we do see though the Bright Bulwark is doing everything it can do to just stop Chingy from any of her advancement, or to try to seduce the big kitty, if not then on Celeste itself. So I guess Lyra is a really good pickup coming out from the side, although it wasn't counter pick per se for the side of ASN. It was the first pick coming into the first game, into this game at least. So I guess Chingy is just really comfortable, and we are seeing the side of ASN just playing around that Bright Bulwark. Chingy may look to jump in again. All three members up in lane. We might be seeing another fight yet to happen.
Three in the lane. No, she's gonna go wrap around. He's looking to be a bit sneaky here. Gets spotted out by the trap, so they know that something is up, but they dive in onto Rasen Shuriken. Rasen Shuriken super low, but looky here, the usage onto the Solar Storm. Into the backline though, Aeon222 is getting them 1 second kill. Can he go for it? Hellfire Brew connecting, and we are going to see a little bit of an extinct tiger into the side as Aeon finds its mark. Gold Mine will also go into the hands of ASN, and that was a perfect initiation for them. Tezaboy absorbing all the damage from what it looks like.
Yep, Aeon maybe going on to so bad, very bad, just to clinch the late ace, but nope. They are just going to back off again at this point in time with Aeon just low on energy. So honestly, coming into the team fight early on, that Bright Bulwark did come out from Lara, but it was just a second or two too late. So that Koshka was already in the Bright Bulwark. When Koshka is in your Bright Bulwark, there is really nothing that you can stop her. She just needs to twirly death and then basic attack you till you die. And that was what that happened. Although they did a very good job getting Chingy and Teza Boy both very low, they failed to account to, you know, the fact that Aeon 222 was just in the back lines, killing down and taking down. Oh, I'll just hold my thought.
As they look to start once again, there you go. Chingy initiates the fight, and here comes the heal from Tezaboy. Aeon 222 from the sidelines is doing so much damage with this Ringo, but they gotta back away. Silver Boom have baited them in. Solar Storm to connect onto that Tezaboy, and she will go down. The chase is happening. Although, look at the damage! Hallelujah! My goodness, they take down Rasen Shuriken and they're falling up onto Pain Sandy. Now you can see the leap from Chingy, the leap of faith, the leap of death. Any way you want to call it, that is just Chingy cleaning up house. And this kitty has just turned into a feline of predatory, I would call it. But well, they get the ace. There you go.
Yep, they did get the ace, and that is the first ace of the game. And with that, they got 2 tower. They might be looking for more fights at this point in time.
And here we go. Once again, oh my goodness, Rasen Shuriken to sacrifice his life to no avail. They still lost that second turret. So Silver Boom, slowly but surely, their control of this game is coming out from the woodwork. ASN are just playing with them right now. Although ASN still have to be careful. So Bad Very Bad has good damage. She's already past level 8, so you got yourself that max Heliogenesis range. So if ever ASN are too aggressive, she might be able to capitalize from downtown. And we've seen how strong a Celeste is, Heliogenesis and Heliogenesis pops. Or rather, Supernova.
But there is one thing that we must know as well, is that Chingy don't quite care about your Heliogenesis or even Supernovas that's going to be coming out of you, because he will be facing you head to head. So, I mean, of course, you can drop your Heliogenesis, you know, just on your feet, and of course, your core collapse as well. But we did see, though, Chingy manages to block out the core collapse to continue jumping on So Bad Very Bad and then scoring that ace. And of course, a lot of clutch plays coming from Aeon as well. Very worthy of a double. Ooh, that happened early on. ASN is continuing to push that advantage. Inside, might be caught out at this point in time.
The chase, they're going for it. They wanted to initiate Pain Sandy, but it will not happen for the meantime. Rasen Shuriken is waiting patiently here onto the sidelines. He wants to aggress onto ASN, but ASN are moving as a unit. They're so coordinated with how they want to go into the jungle of Silver Boom, out of the jungle of Silver Boom, and Chingy right here into the sides. This could be a perfect initiation. There's going to be the Holy Nova, connects onto 2 people. They go in aggressive, uses the passage just for the micro, but Aeon uses it to go into the face of So Bad Very Bad. He's super low. There's a follow-up onto the Hellfire Brew. I guess they don't need it for the meantime, but it's going to be burning onto So Bad Very Bad. Will he survive? That's going to be a no. Double kill for Aeon, and he has been unleashed. Only the choke turret here for the next objective of ASN, and they are finishing this game 30 minutes in. This is a quick start for ASN.
That was a very good fight coming out from the side of ASN. Yet again, it really is just down to Pain Sandy and this Lara and how she uses that Bright Bulwark. And one more thing as well, it is the micro players coming up from Chingy. Being able to block out the core collapse when you are in the aggress, it's quite expected coming up from top players like ASN Esports, but you know, seeing it in place, it is just so impressive coming out from this. And you say a quick win and a quick victory for the side of ASN Esports, and the fact that they are pushing this really quickly, I must agree with you. They are sitting close to an 8k gold lead over that of Team Silverboom. They might be looking for the gold miner yet again, as the whole team, as the entire team of ASN just rotate down to the gold miner.
Yeah, better just get this gold miner before the Kraken appears, so that you get yourself that. If it's on that immense payout, you get 900. But it seems that they don't want to. They're not even giving enough thought onto Pain Sandy. They just went in aggressive and got that Crystal Sentry. And another fight will be started here by ASN. They're following through afterward. Back Pain Sand to push back Chingy, but it's not gonna be enough. And Rasen Shuriken, man, it's not gonna be well for him. He has died so many times already. 7 deaths. All in all, there's gonna be the Hellfire Boot to blast the face of So Bad, Very Bad. And that in its right is So Bad, Very Bad indeed.
So bad, very bad. Your puns today, they are amazing. Especially when you come into teams, and of course, players with names like that, you can't quite help it as a caster, can you?
Yeah, I really can't. I started my career doing that, so it's always stuck by me.
So you started your career just creating puns on and again. So they are going to go in for that Kraken at this point in time, and it's definitely a push to win.
Oh, Imperial Sigil steal, can it be? No. It wasn't meant to be.
We have seen a lot of Imperial Sigils steal so far, but the fact that all 3 members of ASN Esports is just standing on it means that Imperial Sigil will just burn out faster than it could steal, or even before Lara can pop it or proc it once more. So ASN Esports, they are looking very strong coming into this game, looking to end the game already with just 1 Kraken push. Do you think they can be, they are able to do it? I mean, they are looking very strong at this point in time.
Yeah, I think ASN will be able to close this out. There's not much that Silver Boom can do at this point. I mean, they can try again to maybe use the passage and try to read the Ringo in the back line, but then after that, it's gonna be Shingy to be the one you deal with. He's gonna be hopping in and starting to break down the turrets. He takes a ton of damage, but intervention will be popped here by Tezaboy, and the heal is on. Man, this Grace has been such a true pillar for ASN to stand on, as Tezaboy has been frontlining for the meantime. Defensive passage, but that's just going to prolong Pain Sandy's life. Not going to be the core, and game 1 will be taken by ASN.
Game 1 would be taken by ASN. Good game and well played to both teams. At one point in time, we actually thought the side of Silverboom finally found an answer in terms of that Koshka just swapping the roles around, swapping the heroes around between jungle and of course that of lane. But Chingy on this Koshka is just so very strong, giving the side of Silverboom a hard time and difficult time coming into this match. We do see though, Chingy is sitting at 5, 1 and 10, but a lot of credits in one particular match at least went to Aeon, able to just bait out the aggression and greed from Glaive and ending his life. Then that way Chingy could go in for So Bad, Very Bad on that Celeste, clinching the first ace of the game. And with that, they managed to push the first tower and the second tower of Team Silverboom. So really good play coming out from the side of ASN Esports. And like I said earlier on, if you are going to give Chingy his early game hero, then you are in for a very, very bad time, Grumjaw included. But especially on this Koshka with that Batiste banned out for ASN, there is no fear for Batiste. So what I did there, there is no fear for Batiste.
Wow, you're getting into a pun game.
I'm getting really punny, yeah. I should not cast with you anymore. But
no, don't do that.
But, coming into the second game, I mean, it's quite obvious the side of Silverboom just really played into the win conditions of ASN Esports in that first game. So coming into the second game, what do you think personally, as a spectator at least, that, Silverboom should do to come back?
Actually, I was supposed to ask you the same thing, but...
Oh, wow. Because honestly, all the games that we've seen today, it has always been into the match of three or the round of three. No one
Mhm.
really closed out the game, just via two matches, clinching it 2-0. But a lot of games we've seen, it's always 2-1, 2-1, pushing it to the match of three. So do you think Silverboom might have an answer to this Koshka, or just the aggression coming up from the side of ASN? I mean, they really just lost that draft in the first game. They banned out the Idris, ASN banned out the Baron, they picked out Lara, banned out the Vaults afterwards. Just lowering and just decreasing the amount of weapon carries they can use for themselves, for the side of Silverboom at least. And I think that was just bad drafting from their side. So do you think ASN will have that second game if they drafted just a little better and played and do not play into the win conditions of the side of ASN?
So for me, I think first of all right, so before that, I think the draft is ready. So guys, let's go into the. All right, so the thing is that I kind of... Oh, wait. I'm actually not in the draft myself.
Okay.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the thing that I was looking for here, the answer I think is going to be dependent on Silverboom, because it's either one of two things. It's either they out early game ASN, or they just ban out everything that ASN can get in the early game, or they just try to... or the third thing is to try to survive the early game pressure of ASN if ever Chingy goes again for a Mashka or a Grump job. But we've seen what happens on game one, so maybe not the third thing. Maybe it's either out early game them, or not let them get that early game start that they want.
Yep, like one of our casters actually said for the Challenger Series at East, he said, win conditions for any teams out there. First condition, do not die. Second condition, kill things. Third condition, kill things but do not die. So I guess the side of Silverboom really has to get that down in their brains, and of course down on paper as well. Figure out a way to kill things and not die. So coming into this draft, we do see the side of ASN just picking out, or rather banning out, that Catherine. Once again, Silverboom is taking the own sweet time to think of a ban. But honestly, coming into this draft, Koshka is a very, very valuable ban out. But granted, if you do ban out the Koshka, the next pick will go over to ASN, and it's not surprising if ASN do pick out that Baron.
Yeah, so if ever they do go for the Baron, you think that Silverboom can go for something that can counter out the Baron immediately, maybe an Idris, or if they want to go for something, I guess a bit more early game centric, maybe a Grumpjaw, just so that they get it out of the hands of ASN.
Definitely. I mean, if the side of ASN do go for that Baron, then there are a lot of counters, or rather there are a lot of responses in chat for that Baron pickup. You can go for the CP Black Feather just to poke out that Baron. You can go for the CP Celeste, not CP Celeste, you can just go for Celeste. Build weapon power on Celeste, I'll kill you. But you can go for that Celeste to try to outpoke yet again. And of course, with that as well, Ozo just out-sustain the damage coming out from Baron, of course, to burst him down. And of course, like you said, the Idris just so to counter that of Baron. But we do see the Lara being picked up for the side of ASN once again. And of course, Silverboom banning out that Grace. So there are no longer any more viable, quote-unquote, heroes in the foes, unless, of course, you want to run that Rome Adagio that has been and hasn't been seen recently. Well, we are going to see a Baron for the side of Silverboom.
So, I mean, maybe Silverboom baited out the ban on the Grace so that, ASN would be good on just picking the Slyra. They immediately ban out the Idris so that, the Baron doesn't get caught out. But this could mean that the second pick for ASN is free to go for Chingy's, again, aggressive early game play style.
Then again, just with regards to how ASN has been playing so far, picking out that Baron is really a terrible idea, because ASN really want to push that advantage in the early game. Do not want to quite let it, wait into the late game, and that is what they excel in, that early game aggression. And if you're gonna pick out that Baron, then you are kind of giving it to them, right? You are just playing into the win conditions. You are just putting, win and victory on a silver platter for them. So I guess, I hope Silverboom has got an answer with this Baron, at least pick out an early game hero. like say that of Koshka or even the Castro just to deny that early game. Even then, I mean, a Samuel would be a good pickup as well for this time, just to counter and weigh out that early and late game hero comp that they can have. If not, they are going to go for that Finn.
Ooh, I think this is the Finn that the first time we've seen Finn for what, 2 weeks now? I think last week he wasn't picked at all.
Yeah, I mean, Finn is just not as meta at this point in time. There are, I mean, granted, the next most meta, say, Roma or captain would be that of Lance. But then again, with a lot of cooldowns or changes made to Lance, there hasn't been a lot of Lance being played as well. So I guess Finn would be a good choice. But honestly, the Rome Batiste or even the Rome Glaive would have came out on top over that of Finn, because Finn, you one of the biggest weakness as a Finn is that you cannot catch up at all. If your ally is being caught up, you cannot catch up, you cannot save them. You have your polite company, you can grant them that fortified health, but at the end of the day, you are just so very slow. And yeah, and also you are dealing with an Ozo, which is very mobile, and on top of that, you've got a Lyra, you've got a Vox as well. So I'm glad the side of ASN Esports will pick up that Ozo just so to go into that Baron, and I think it's a very good pickup. Ozo does very well against the Castrol as well. So this is down to how, yet again, Silverboom will play and execute the team comp, especially when going up against ASN Esports, the team that knows how to escalate from 0 to 100 really, really quickly.
Yeah, true that. They're the 0 to 100 team. So, from the looks of it, Silverboom are going to be playing with the mindset of Finn's going to be in the front line. He's going to be looking to set us up a Force Accord. He's probably going to have an Echo to, get for that second Force Accord just in case if someone, the Lyra has a Crucible. And then he's just going to be, I guess, basically fish bait so that Kestrel and Baron would have free reign to deal damage from the sides. I mean, that seems to be the case here, but do you think there's any other playstyle that they can do?
For the side of Silverboom?
Yes, Silverboom with the Finn.
Well, I think, yeah, I must agree with you. There is really no other way to play with Finn. Unless, of course, if you build Crystal Power on him, then his Quibble would hurt very much. But even then, I don't think we'll be seeing that. We'll be seeing a CP Castro at the end of the day and a Weapon Baron. So, yeah, like you said, Finn will just be in the front line, trying to soak up as much as damage that he can possibly soak up. But we must first understand one thing as well, that, the side of ASN Esports, they are going for the high sustained team comp with that Vox, will be going for the poison shift, tension bow, breaking point, will be able to stay in a fight for a very long time to build up those breaking point stacks. And Finn is the prime target at the end of the day, because you'll be in the front line, you'll be bouncing, my basic attacks, my auto attacks to Baron, to Castro.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and on top of that, Ozo, with his Carney luck, works just so very well with that Lyra. He gets an extra healing, he gets extra fortified health, he gets extra health barrier as well. And on top of that, he is so mobile, and when he's jumping and acro bouncing to get into the back lines, he has just got so much burst in that early game as well. So it is quite confusing for me as to why Silverboom would go for that Baron pickup, and with that Finn, and of course to complete their lineup they have got Castro. But then again, like I said earlier on, Silverboom would have a chance to win one game, and one game only is when Lei Kang would play, and in this game we do see Lei Kang playing on that Baron.
Ooh, so maybe they're just going in for let's play not on reason, but more on what we're comfortable with. So Lei Kang is going to be playing on a Baron, which I think would be one of his comfort heroes.
Well, a lot of times when we do see Lei Kang come out to play, he's usually on that weapon Dajo. In very rare occasions would we see that Baron, because more often than not, Baron is usually not let through at all, whether in the single phase, the first phase of Bent or the second phase of Bent. So it's rarely seen. It's rarely seen, but I guess I hope Lei King has got something up his sleeves. So bad, very bad. All three members of the side of Silverboom all up in lane at this point in time, trying to force Aeon back. But Aeon do have an armor just to stand up against that of Lei King. So, and one more thing as well, it is quite weird for me that, you know, ASN would just complete the team comp with that Ozo and not opt for that Taka, because Taka is very strong going into that of Baron. But I do understand why, because you can get spotted out by Polite Company when Finn does use it. So I guess it's a good pick. I guess letting your enemies know where you are, you know, isn't quite bad at the end of the day if you can just kill off and assassinate that Baron, which will be your key target.
But now they're going to be initiating onto Aeon. Damage, they actually pick him off straight off the bat, and Silverboom, looky here, gets that first blood. Hezeboy will be rotating to the lane just to provide at least some support for this turret. And as it looks like Silverboom, they're wanting blood. They're looking for some early game sieging, as Hezeboy will be absorbing the damage or damage shots from So Bad, Very Bad.
Well, yeah, but you know, as a Crystal Castro, your basic attack do not do much damage, as we can tell.
Actually, yeah.
The turret is relatively healthy. Chingy maybe in a bad spot.
And Chingy, oh my goodness, he actually overcommits and gets blown up by Silverboom. So this could be a good start for Silverboom. Already 2-0, 3 minutes into the game.
2-0, and on top of that, sitting on a 1k gold lead. Oh, yet another kill going over to the side of Team Silverboom. And you may be right, Silverboom coming into this game with that Lei King swap out may be their key or the recipe to win games. We do see So Bad, Very Bad on that Crystal Castro coming in very, very aggressive. Lei King might be in for a time when Chingy rotates up to lane, but that will not be happening so far.
Oh, from the backline, you actually saw So Bad, Very Bad was active camo stealthed, but here comes ASN diving in aggressive onto Lei King. Nice connection from the CCs of Pain Sandy. He'll be stomping it to the ground and actually vacuuming everyone to him so that Lei King can survive. And the protection is real from Pain Sandy, although Lei King, look at here. Oh, Hezeboy, this could be bad though. So Bad, Very Bad is right here. He's dealing out the glimmer shots, and they can't get it. But still, Silverboom, well, he did say ASN are 0 to 100. Silverboom are trying to do that themselves. Looky here.
I mean, they have got the artillery in that of the early game in terms of the Crystal Castro. So I guess they have kind of the right, to just go boom, boom on, So honestly, coming into this game, ASN looks rather weak in that of the early game.
Yeah.
but it is just down to when Aeon to that was such a bad time. So many layers of meaning in it. But it is just down to, after Aeon picks up that poison shift and when he can sustain in lane going up against Lei King on that Baron. And on top of that as well, we really need to see that Aftershock on Chingy. And, proccing Aftershock would give also so much sustain on top of the sustain that he already has. Firstly, on top of that as well, is the extra damage that Chingy's desperately need at this point in time. We did see the third Acro Bounce landed on Lei King, but didn't do quite as much damage as I expected. So at the end of the day, it's really just down to how ASN can control in that late game, and on top of that, push it into a win for themselves at least. Because for the late game, when everyone has come online, it is just down to So Bad, Very Bad on his placement, and of course down to Tezzaboy and his vision control of the game.
Yeah, Tezzaboy. Oh, pause on the match. So right now they just gotta be careful. But again, I'm just curious about this one. Come late game, it's gonna be Silverboom, right, to actually out damage ASN. I mean, they do have that Crystal Power Kestrel and the Baron, so it's gonna be very painful for ASN to deal with those two heroes in the late game.
Definitely. that Baron, that Castro, CP Castro especially, does so well in the late game. But there is one way to hard counter that of CP Castro, and that would be using very good vision or very strategically play scout traps and even use flash. So that is one thing that we must take note of. Whether or not Tezzaboy can achieve that, Tezzaboy is taken down to 3/4 health just by 1, 2, 3 glimmer shots. It's really just down to how ASN Esports can play into the late game, to be honest, because whether or not Aeon can stay in a fight for a very long time and whether or not Bright Bulwark can be used to its full effectiveness.
Wow, that damage. ASN are so freaking low, right? Although Lei King might have been overcommitting to seeing ASN so low that he jumped into his death and he pays the price with his life. And that's going to be the first kill for ASN.
Yep, first kill for ASN indeed. And like I said, Chingy really needs that Aftershock to do very reliable damage. And Aftershock he got, and Aftershock he did to kill Lei King or remove Lei King temporarily in that fight.
So right now, Silver Boom will be starting a fight onto Tezzaboy. He's actually pretty fast, so they won't be able to capitalize. Chingy has already backed off into his own jungle, and Silver Boom, they're really focusing right now into the lane. They're trying to siege as much as they can, I guess, with Lei Kang's Baron right here, or maybe force ASN into a predictable fight. But ASN will not falter for the meantime. They get the 1 kill onto Pain Sandy, but we see Silver Boom go in with the revenge, make that 1-1. Here it goes. Fight breaks out once again, and there you have it. And for ASN, interestingly enough, Lei King and So Bad, Very Bad weren't able to survive that one, and it looks like they had enough HP to do so.
Yep, and there is one thing as well. There is a proc coming out from the side of Aeon 222 as well, and thus they won with that tension bow, and of course the sustain as well, and thus they won that damage, won that team fight, managed to take down 1 turret in exchange for the turret that was taken on the other side. Goal difference now is close to nothing, with both of the teams just being very, very even at this point in time. For the next item that Chingy will be getting, that would be that Broken Myth, just to increase the damage output coming out from this Ozo. But there is one thing that you must know as well. Ozo in the late game will be used very much as a supplement, as a distraction, just going into the middle of the fight, not doing much, but the fight will be happening as I'm talking.
Like I said, using that passage to actually initiate, and Chingy, early on, you said that he was supposed to be a supplement. He is doing that right now as Aeon is doing all the work and taking down Pain Sandy. But as I say that, Chingy with the solo kill onto So Bad, Very Bad, even with Lei King into the sidelines, there's going to be usage of the Vox ultimate, and Chingy just jumping in. It's just a circus. It's a circus monkey going in a little bit wild as he tries to make everything happen right now for ASN. That second turret should go down, and well, ASN to ramp up a 2k gold lead from that fight.
Yep, I'm not sure if I ever told you, but that is what that Ozo says. One of his lines in game. Yeah. So there you go.
You told me, like I think a month ago.
Oh, okay, yeah. That is one of his lines in game, and that was what that made me play him at the start when he first came out. I was so obsessed with him because of that line itself. And I always have it on blast, and I'm on Discord with my friends or something, or maybe line call, and I'll just have it on blast whenever he does that, and it'll just yeah, you get the whole point. But we do see though Aeon 222 on this Vox managing to just out-sustain the damage coming out from Lei King, and it's understandable. Although Lei King has got that Sorrow Blade, has got a tension bow, has got the burst in terms of that Lucky Strike going into the Tyrant's Monaco, and yet Aeon can just hold himself so well with Tezzaboy 98 on that Lyra. Yeah. And I really like the engage as well coming out from Tezzaboy. He is slowly building into that contraption at this point in time, which is what we all like to see, just for that extra vision control, just for that extra vision advantage that they can have over the side of Silver Boom, because that is what I said. In order to counter a Castro, especially a CP1 that can stay in this for the longest of time, you really need that damage. You really need that vision control. They do take that gold mine, pushing the gold lead a little further to say 2K, 2.5. Oh no, just 2K.
So it looked like Silverboom didn't want to contest that gold mine for now because they're a little bit afraid of how that last clash followed through. Chingy will be starting off, gets the snare onto Lei King. Lei King still has his jump jets to be able to get away from the fight. Essentially will be defeated. This could be a blown out team fight right now. Passage into the backline. Lei King is in a very bad spot, gets blown up. Aeon is still healthy and living right here, and that I think itemization will be able to take down Pain Sandy quick and easy. Active camo by So Bad Very Bad will be his silver lining in that fight as he escapes, but his teammates do not.
And one more thing about playing Crystal Casual as well is that you have to set up before the team fight happens. Lure your enemies into the mist, try to get a triple stun, if not then double stun at least, because honestly, that is really just part of your kit. You have to work like an assassin. You are not a Crystal Caster. You cannot just stand there and shoot and then active camo away when, you know, the need calls for it. You really just need to set up for your team, and that is, you know, the majority of your damage. But in that team fight alone, we did see no setup was done whatsoever, and the side of ASN Esports, they just used that Crystal Miner, Crystal Sentry to bait out Baron. Baron was going in for, you know, and he was baited out. He was taken down very low before Arcane Passage was used. Once they have gotten the sentry down, they went in immediately, took out, refilled that of Castro, took out Baron, and then immediately turned on Pain Sunday on that.
Okay, so a fight will start. I'll hold you off for that one. Look at Pain Sandy absorb so much punishment from ASN, and here comes another one. Offensive bulwark just to catch up. So bad, very bad. It will not happen. Just the slow will connect. Usage again from the ultimate of the Vox, and they follow through under turret. ASN are still fighting. They get the one, they get the second. Oh baby, it's a double. Can they go for the triple? Lei King is trying to dip back into the fight, maybe provide some support for this turret as ASN are 3-man strong. This is not looking good at all for Silverboom. Could be a 2-0 as ASN is doing short work of that third turret. Lei King using the ultimate, but nobody followed him through the iron. One shot, one kill, but still ASN, mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished indeed. And like I said, the team bomb coming up from the side of Silverboom, it will work, but it would not work if you are an independent entity. You really have to work in a team. You have to lure them into your scout, your traps, your active camo, activate them, and then you have Baron jump in. Because one thing that's for sure, Finn is very immobile, like I said earlier on, and a lot of fights have to happen around him. Yet, Chingy wants to dive into the back lines. Also, at least wants to dive into the back lines for your carries and ignoring your existence all in all. And on top of that, they've got a Lyra, they've got the Bright Bulwark, they can go into your back lines yet again. And if you're too front forward, trying to soak up as much damage as you can possibly, as a Finn, then you will be neglecting your teammates although you're in front. Makes sense. It sounds weird, but I mean, it should make sense, because as a Finn, you really do not want to soak up damage all the way in front. You really want to be with your teammates. So when you have the polite company, or rather some people call it, I will politely invite you to the death of my team. When you have that on, and when you're going to use it, you really need to have your team around you, else you cannot have any form of protection given to your team.
Yeah, that's a very long name for a skill, but I'll take it. I'll take it as well. Politely invite you to your death. But is it true? Actually, Pain Sandy hasn't, I think, connected a good force to core. It's either it's been reflex block or he really can't get anything for the meantime. Look at that. My goodness, Chingy was going a little bit Beyblade into the members of Silverboom, going in aggressive, going to the mid lane, mid fight, back line as well. They're chasing him down, and Chingy, look at this, the hops from this monkey is going a little bit wild as ASN go for a second kill. Lei King to survive, but Lei King's not going to be happy with that one. He has been losing teammates left and right, as well as objective fights.
Yep, ASN Esports, they looked really shaky in that early game, but once Chingy got, online with that aftershock and is able to put up so much damage, there was no chance in hell that, the side of Silverboom could respond or even react, as we see. Oh, one shot, one kill, barely missing that Kraken steal. And Pain Sunday, we do see Pain Sunday picking up the Now With Gauntlet. So what we can see and what we might see will be a Now With Gauntlet onto that of Tezzaboy 98, and then using Force Accord afterwards. That way, if the side of ASN Esports, they've got excellent communications, then definitely when Tezzaboy does that and does get Now With, really, Chingy just wants to be in you. Like, in your team, just in your face. Whereas
Tezzaboy got hooked in, but that's a Lyra. She got the ultimate. She the exit out. And here we go. Fight breaks out. Lei King puts down the Porcupine artillery, uses the ion cannon onto the Kraken, and the Kraken is now smashing onto the turrets. And they have to deal with two things. Silverboom has to defend against 3 members of ASN and the Kraken battering down. They do have the safety of their HQ to heal back up, but ASN are playing this so well, using Tezzaboy as that mini heal tower, I guess, for the meantime, as the Kraken breaks down 2 turrets. ASN will be aced. That's a triple for Silverboom, but they got opened up, and I don't think they have enough time to actually wrap back and go straight into the heart of ASN's base.
Yeah, but we can imagine what would happen next coming up for the side of ASN Esports. Would they want to fight another fight? No, I don't think so. What would probably happen would be a backdoor with Lyra. Let's make a bet, Asteroid.
I don't want to bet because I feel like it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna happen here. Or rather, fine, I'll take it. ASL will go for a fight rather than backdoor. All right, let's go.
Okay, so you do that, yeah. So if you lose, yeah, you buy me dinner, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know you liked me that. Sure, that's good. No, just kidding. But sure. If ever I go to Singapore.
Okay, so you were right.
Oh yeah, the fight breaks out, and here we go. ASN are going in. Pain Sandy cannot go to his teammates, but maybe that's a good thing because look at Lei King go. The kite damage pushing back onto ASN. Polite Company to push them back in, and Aeon was caught off guard. They got bursted down, and this could be a legit turnaround for Silverboom. 30 seconds onto Aeon before he comes back into the fight.
30 seconds indeed, but Tezzaboy moving in a very haphazard manner.
Oh, 2v1. This is Chingy Unleashed. Is he really gonna go for it? Go for broke. Uses the 3 ring. Oh! He's doing it, Chingy. Can he go for the triple? Oh, baby, he a triple. He does get it, and Chingy goes wild. My goodness, the ace. And there's gonna be the GG push. Oh my goodness. Chingy. What the hell?
Oh wow, the plays indeed. He got the first. I wasn't expecting the second. He got the second. I wasn't expecting a third, and then he manages to pull out a triple kill. 2 v3. Impressive players coming on and from Chingy. Really, really impressive for the late game. And yes, to close that game out, I owe you dinner, Asterai. And good game, well played, especially to ASN Esports, and of course, to pull out the player that, I wanted to say that Aeon just carried the team through, with just not even carry, but rather